For years, someone in your life has probably warned you to steer clear of bananas. Too much sugar, too many carbohydrates, a fruit you should ration if you're watching your weight or keeping an eye on your blood sugar. And honestly, I get why that idea took hold because a soft, brown, freckled banana really does come close to being pure sugar by the time it reaches that stage. So that piece of advice isn't wrong exactly. It's just only telling you half the story. Here's the part nobody ever bothered to explain to you. A banana isn't a single fixed food. That exact same fruit, depending on one factor almost nobody ever pays attention to, can either send your blood sugar rocketing the way a spoonful of honey would, or nourish the beneficial bacteria in your digestive system while barely nudging your blood sugar at all. Same banana, entirely different outcome for your body, and hardly anyone realizes which version they're actually consuming. I'm Dr. Narita. Over the years, so many of the people under my care were needlessly steering clear of bananas for the wrong reasons, all while running low on the very mineral a banana happens to deliver better than almost anything else. A mineral that roughly 3 out of every 4 adults in this country are falling short on. 2 bananas daily, consumed the correct way, quietly fills in that shortfall. And the ripple effects go further than you'd expect. They influence your blood pressure, the rhythm of your heart, your gut health, your sleep quality, even how consistent your energy feels during a long walk. Before you scroll past assuming this is just another eat more fruit video, stick with me for a few minutes because that's not what this is. I'm going to walk you through exactly what 2 bananas a day does inside your body, day in and day out. What it does for your blood pressure and your risk of stroke. The unusual thing that happens in your gut that depends entirely on how ripe that banana is. What it genuinely does for your sleep and your mood, including one widely believed claim that turns out to be mostly myth. And the one scenario where you actually need to be cautious with bananas, because for a small subset of people, they're truly the wrong choice. Before I continue, a quick note, because it's the entire reason I make these videos. Everything I'm about to share with you about bananas is just one small piece of a much larger picture, the handful of everyday habits that quietly determine whether you're still strong and self-sufficient at 80 or already slowing down at 65. I've taken everything I share with my own patients about aging well and compiled it into one straightforward plan. It has already helped thousands of people live their fullest lives past 60. If you'd like access to it, the link is right there on your screen. You won't need to jot anything down, and I'd never make you sit through me reciting a web address out loud. So let's begin with that mineral, because it's the thread tying nearly everything else together. It's potassium, and your body wages a quiet, ongoing tug of war over it every single day. On one side sits sodium, salt. The modern diet is absolutely saturated with it, hidden away in bread, canned soup, deli meats, and restaurant meals. Sodium draws water into your bloodstream and pushes your blood pressure upward. On the opposing side is potassium, which does the reverse. It helps your kidneys flush that surplus sodium out of your system. It loosens the walls of your blood vessels and eases the pressure back down. For the vast majority of human history, our potassium intake far outpaced our sodium intake. Today, that balance has completely reversed, and dramatically so. Here's a number worth remembering. According to the National Academies of Sciences, most adults need somewhere between 2,600 and 3,400 milligrams of potassium daily. And according to the government's own nutritional surveys, roughly 3 out of 4 Americans fail to hit that mark. Not by a small margin either, chronically short year after year. It's one of the most widespread nutrient deficiencies in the entire country, and almost nobody's discussing it. 2 medium-sized bananas provide roughly 840 milligrams of potassium. Call it a quarter to a third of your daily requirement from a fruit that costs pocket change, contains no fat, no cholesterol, and virtually no sodium. That's the lever you're pulling. And the second factor that determines what a banana actually does to your body, the ripeness sitting right there on your kitchen counter, is where this gets truly interesting. Let's connect potassium directly to blood pressure because this is where it really shines. When you're running low on potassium and high on sodium, your blood vessels stay slightly constricted and your body retains a bit more fluid than it should. Both push your pressure upward and keep it elevated. Supply your body with more potassium, and you help it release that sodium while relaxing those vessel walls. This is precisely the principle behind the DASH diet, the eating approach developed by the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, specifically designed to lower blood pressure. It relies heavily on potassium-dense foods like bananas. Now, this is where it stops being about a single reading on a blood pressure cuff and starts being about your actual life. Back in 2013, the British Medical Journal published a large-scale review compiling data on potassium consumption and stroke risk. People whose diets contained higher potassium levels showed roughly a 24% lower risk of stroke. 24%. Consider everything a stroke can steal from someone: their independence, their ability to speak, the use of a hand. What you choose to put on your plate is one of the precious few levers you genuinely control in that equation. I want to be exact about this because you deserve honesty. A banana isn't medicine. Eating two of them won't erase a poor diet or replace your blood pressure prescription, and you should never discontinue any medication on your own judgment. What the research actually demonstrates is that people who eat this way consistently over time tend to show lower blood pressure readings and experience fewer strokes. Bananas are simply one of the easiest, most affordable tools for tilting your daily potassium balance back in your favor. That's the first thing two a day quietly accomplishes for you. Now, here's the part almost nobody knows, and it's exactly why I said a banana isn't really one single food. Look at the bananas sitting on your counter right now. A green, firm one and a soft, brown, speckled one are, on the inside, practically two different foods altogether, because as a banana ripens, something remarkable happens to its actual composition. A green, underripe banana is loaded with something called resistant starch. The name tells you exactly what it does. It resists digestion. It travels all the way through your small intestine intact, without breaking down into sugar, meaning it barely affects your blood sugar at all. Then it arrives at your large intestine, and this is where things get interesting. Down there, your gut bacteria ferment that starch, and in doing so, they generate a compound called butyrate. Butyrate happens to be the preferred fuel source for the cells lining your colon. It's one of the best possible things you can feed the ecosystem living inside your gut. Researchers at Harvard have pointed to resistant starch as one of the key reasons a firmer banana behaves so differently within the body. Now let that same banana sit around for a week. As it ripens and the peel becomes freckled, enzymes convert that resistant starch into simple sugars. That's exactly why a brown banana tastes as sweet as candy. Chemically speaking, it has moved much closer to actually being candy. Its impact on your blood sugar rises right alongside its sweetness. You can see this reflected in the numbers. A green, firm banana carries a glycemic index, the measurement of how quickly a food raises your blood sugar, of around 30. That's low. A very ripe, heavily spotted banana climbs up toward 50 or 60. Same fruit. The ripeness alone quietly transformed it from a slow-releasing food into a much faster one. So here's what that means practically in your kitchen, and it might be the single most useful takeaway I give you today. If you're monitoring your blood sugar or simply want sustained energy without the crash, purchase your bananas while they're still a touch green and eat them while firm, with just a slight give. Once those brown spots appear, the sugar has already arrived. And if you ever end up with a banana that's gone too far past ripe, don't eat it by itself on an empty stomach. Slice it over some Greek yogurt or pair it with a handful of nuts, so the protein and fat slow down the whole process. Let's circle back to potassium for a moment, because it does something you never think about until it stops working properly. Potassium powers your heartbeat. Every single beat of your heart is an electrical event, and potassium is one of the primary minerals carrying that electrical signal. It's part of what keeps your rhythm steady and consistent. When your potassium level drops too low, that rhythm can become erratic. Skipped beats, fluttering sensations, and in some cases, a genuinely dangerous, irregular heartbeat. That same mineral is also behind many muscle cramps, especially those Charlie horses that seize your calf muscle in the middle of the night and jolt you awake. Potassium, alongside its partner mineral magnesium, helps your muscles contract and then release properly. Fall short on either, and they can lock up entirely. I'll be upfront about one thing. A banana isn't a magnesium powerhouse. It provides roughly 8% of your daily requirement, which is a nice bonus but not the main attraction. Potassium is the true star here. But for the everyday task of maintaining a regular heartbeat and preventing muscle cramps, 2 bananas a day is quietly an excellent habit to build. There's a reason you spot bananas courtside at every tennis match and in the hands of nearly every marathon runner, and it isn't just clever marketing. Back in 2012, Researchers at Appalachian State University conducted a study published in the journal PLOS1 on trained cyclists during long, punishing rides. They compared eating bananas against drinking a standard sports drink. The bananas kept these athletes just as well fueled, with blood sugar levels just as stable as the sports drink managed to do. And the banana came bundled with antioxidants and nutrients that the sports drink simply couldn't offer. Now, you're probably not cycling 40 miles at a stretch, but the same principle applies perfectly to a long walk, an afternoon spent gardening, or a busy day chasing after grandchildren. A banana delivers natural, usable energy that arrives gradually, rather than as a sharp spike followed by a crash, especially, remember, if it's on the firmer side. It's genuine, real food that your body already knows how to process. That makes it a far superior companion for an active hour compared to a cereal bar or a cookie. Let me pause for a quick favor here, since this is a natural moment for it. If anything so far has been valuable to you, please hit subscribe, tap that like button, and leave me a comment letting me know how you prefer your bananas, green and firm or soft and sweet. I genuinely read every single one, and it shapes what I create for you next. That covers it. Now, let's discuss what a banana does once the sun sets. You've probably heard claims that a banana can help you sleep or boost your mood thanks to something called tryptophan. There's a genuine kernel of truth buried in there, along with a popular exaggeration I want to clear up because you deserve the honest version. Here's the accurate part. Bananas do contain tryptophan, a building block your body uses to produce serotonin, the calming, feel-good chemical. And serotonin, in turn, helps synthesize melatonin, the hormone responsible for triggering sleep. Bananas are also unusually rich in vitamin B6 for a fruit. A single one provides around a quarter of your daily requirement, and B6 acts as an essential helper throughout that whole conversion process. So the raw ingredients genuinely are present. Now here's the honest catch. Eating a single banana won't flood your brain with serotonin and instantly make you happy. That's a myth. The tryptophan from any food has to compete against other nutrients just to cross into the brain, and the quantity present in a banana is fairly modest. So don't expect it to function like a sleeping pill or an antidepressant, because it won't. What's fair to say is this: as part of a calmer evening routine, a lighter dinner, reduced screen time, a warm beverage, a banana quietly contributes some of the raw materials your body uses to wind down. If sleep is something you struggle with, having one of your 2 daily bananas in the evening is a small, harmless addition that fits nicely into that pattern. Just keep your expectations realistic and skip reaching for the overly ripe, sugary one right before bedtime. 2 more surprising things bananas do, and then I need to give you an important caution. First is what a banana can accomplish for a sensitive stomach. If you've ever dealt with heartburn, gastritis, or a touchy digestive system, you may have noticed a banana is one of the few foods that goes down without issue. There's real science supporting that observation. A laboratory study published back in 1999 in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology demonstrated that a compound found in unripe bananas thickened the protective mucus lining of the stomach. That mucus layer is the barrier shielding your stomach wall from its own acid. I'll be careful here. That particular study examined an isolated compound, not a guarantee that bananas cure ulcers, but it aligns with what plenty of people notice, and combined with the fiber and resistant starch we discussed earlier, it helps explain why bananas are so gentle on digestion and so effective at keeping you regular. The second surprising fact is something almost nobody knows. That same banana contains dopamine. Yes, the same name as the brain chemical. Inside the fruit itself, it functions as a potent antioxidant, one of the compounds that cleans up the everyday cellular damage that contributes to aging. To be clear, the dopamine present in a banana doesn't travel to your brain and give you a mood boost. It performs its work as an antioxidant inside the fruit and inside your body. But it's one more reason this humble, inexpensive fruit punches well above its weight class. Now, for the warning, and please don't skip past this part, because for a small number of people, everything I've described flips completely. Potassium is wonderful, right up until your body loses the ability to clear it out. Your kidneys are responsible for keeping potassium within a safe range. If you're dealing with advanced kidney disease or you're on dialysis, your kidneys may struggle to eliminate the excess, and potassium can accumulate in your bloodstream to a level that becomes dangerous for your heart rhythm. The same caution applies if you're taking certain blood pressure medications, the ones called ACE inhibitors, ARBs, or a diuretic called spironolactone, because these can also elevate your potassium levels. For this particular group, a couple of bananas daily might genuinely be too much. So here's the clear boundary line. If you have normal kidney function and you're generally in good health, 2 bananas a day is a safe, excellent habit for the overwhelming majority of people. But if you have kidney disease, you're undergoing dialysis, or you take one of those specific medications, speak with your doctor or a registered dietitian before loading up on potassium-rich foods. That warning applies exclusively to that group. For everyone else, 2 bananas a day is a green light. Let me tell you about someone. I'll call her Ruth, and she's actually a composite of several people I've cared for over the years, so no one's privacy is compromised here. Ruth was 66, and years earlier she'd been advised to eliminate bananas entirely because she was watching her weight, and her blood sugar had started creeping upward. So she banished them from her diet, and instead her afternoon slump got filled with whatever happened to be sitting in the cupboard: a couple of cookies, some crackers, a granola bar that was essentially a candy bar in disguise. Her blood pressure was running a bit elevated. Her energy sagged every single afternoon without fail. We didn't make any dramatic overhauls. I asked her to do just 2 things: bring bananas back into her routine, 2 a day, but purchase them firm and green, eating them before the spots appeared, and use one of them to replace that afternoon cookie habit entirely. That was the whole intervention. I want to be honest about the outcome because I'm not here to sell you a miracle. Her blood pressure didn't magically snap into perfect numbers overnight, but over a couple of months, combined with that single swap plus a few other minor adjustments, it drifted downward noticeably. Her afternoon crash softened considerably, because a firm banana delivers far steadier energy than a cookie ever could. She stopped feeling controlled by whatever was in the cupboard at 3 p.m., and the thing she told me she felt most grateful for was refreshingly simple. She'd finally stopped feeling guilty about a fruit that had been helping her all along. The banana was never actually her problem. The sugary snack that had replaced it was. So let's bring this all together into something you can genuinely act on starting today. 1. Aim for 2 bananas daily. That's the sweet spot. Enough to meaningfully close that potassium gap without overloading on sugar or calories. 2. Buy them a bit green and eat them while still firm. That's when you capture the resistant starch, the gentler impact on blood sugar, and the steadier energy release. Those brown spots signal that the sugar has already arrived. 3. Use a banana to replace the worst snack currently in your daily routine: the cookie, the chips, the pastry. That single substitution is where most of the genuine benefit hides. 4. If sleep is something you struggle with, have one of your bananas in the evening as part of your wind-down routine, just not the overly ripe one right before bed. 5. And if you have kidney disease, you're on dialysis, or you take an ACE inhibitor, an ARB, or spironolactone, check with your doctor first. For everyone else, this remains one of the simplest, most affordable, genuinely beneficial habits I know of. That wraps it up. If this helped you look at an ordinary banana a little differently, do me that quick favor. Subscribe, drop a like, and leave a comment. It genuinely helps me keep creating these videos for you. Take good care of yourself and be kind to that body of yours. It's the only one you'll ever get. I'm Dr. Narita, and I'll see you again soon.